Welcome to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency's 6th Biennial Awards Ceremony. My name is Terry Redmond, and I am the Director of Counseling at PHFA, and I am honored to serve as your host for this event. Our continued theme is adding wings to the vision, enhancing our vision through partnerships and collaborative efforts. It speaks to the importance of developing strategic relationships, encouraging innovation, improving efficiencies to maximize performance, and leveraging resources while providing value-added service. Since the beginning of PHFA, we have effectively worked alongside and through developers, lenders, counseling agencies, and community organizations to help carry out our own mission and to help our partners succeed to providing housing assistance to Pennsylvania communities. So, if you are interested in working with us, obtaining a loan, or benefiting from our programs, please keep watching. If you like what you see, we encourage you to visit our website at phfa.org for more information. We have an exciting program planned for you today. The keynote address will be presented by Senator Art Haywood. Of course, we'll have the award presentation, and we will hear from the newly appointed Acting Secretary of Banking and Securities, the Honorable Richard Vague, our board president. Robin Weissman, the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer of PHFA, will share her thoughts during this event. And we will also hear words from the Directors of Homeownership, HEMAP, and the Policy Divisions. This year, we can't share in-person greetings with each other as we have in years past, but we do have a chat feature available on this platform. Please take advantage of it to greet colleagues and to congratulate winners. We have hundreds of attendees today, including PHFA staff, representatives from our lending partners, counselors, developers, as well as community leaders. So please greet each other virtually as best as you can this year, knowing that we will be able to repeat those words of greetings and congratulations in person someday in the future. In a moment, I will have the pleasure of introducing PHFA's board president, but first, I'd like to provide you with a brief update on the work in the counseling division and highlight some new capacity building opportunities that lie ahead. COVID-19 has really changed our lives and continues to have an impact on every decision we make. But even without COVID, housing counseling has and will continue to be an evolving industry, forcing us all to transform the way we operate at home and at work. For instance, after August 1st, 2021, we can no longer work in the field without a certification issued by HUD. And as always, we will be forced to be innovative and embrace the use of new technology. We must continue to embrace our existing business model to improve client engagement strategies and create new and interesting ways to reach our customers. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has had an impact on the number of clients counseled this year. However, this program has and will continue to be an effective way to reach at least 20,000 families each year. Moving forward, we will continue our partnership with the National Real Estate Institute and NeighborWorks America to provide the required training and certification now necessary to conduct our work. In January, we plan to launch the new Homeowner Connect feature using our existing case management system to expand our reach to consumers and potential homeowners electronically. providing them with access to a counselor to get the housing help that they need. None of these things would be possible if it were not for the impeccable executive leadership appointed to oversee our work at PHFA. Secretary Vague is no stranger to understanding what it takes to be successful. Prior to being named as Acting Secretary of Banking and Securities, Mr. Vague served as Managing Partner of Gabriel Investment and Chair of the Governor's Woods Foundation. Previously, he was co-founder, Chairman, and CEO of Energy Plus, an electricity and natural gas supply company operating throughout the U.S. that is now part of NRG Energy. A native of Texas, he received a Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of Texas at Austin and currently resides in Philadelphia. So now, please help me provide a warm welcome to PHFA's Board Chairman, Secretary Richard Vague.
Thank you, Terry and Director Weissman, and thank you to all of your colleagues at PHFA. First and foremost, congratulations to those of you being recognized today. I'm honored to be able to join you, virtually though it may be, to recognize the outstanding work you do each day to help Pennsylvanians, whether to purchase a home or to help stay in their homes when facing difficult circumstances. The work of you as housing agencies and housing counselors providing guidance, education, and advice to help your clients ready themselves for the realities of home ownership or improve their housing circumstances is such a critical service in the Commonwealth. You epitomize the theme of these awards, adding wings to the vision, as without your daily commitment to serving your clients, the goals of affordable home ownership and housing stability would be far more difficult to attain. I would like to offer special recognition to today's recipients of the PHFA Award of Excellence, Senator Art Haywood. Senator Haywood has long been a champion for families facing foreclosure through his previous work with Community Legal Services and Regional Housing Legal Services and his work in community revitalization and development. As a legislator, his prioritization of issues impacting housing insecurity and homelessness prevention make him more than an ideal and impressive honoree for this award. Congratulations, Senator Haywood, and thank you for all that you do to serve the people of Pennsylvania. Now it is my privilege to introduce Robin Weissman, PHFA CEO and Executive Director. It has been a sincere pleasure to serve with Director Weissman on the PHFA board over the course of this turbulent and momentous year. She has also served as a thoughtful resource and sounding board as I now serve in the role of the Department of Banking Securities she previously served with such excellence. In my view, the work of the department and the work of PHFA go hand in hand. Our financial services for consumers and businesses staff helps ensure that Pennsylvanians are well informed to make smart decisions to protect and grow their money, from saving for retirement, guarding against scams and fraud, and building financial capability skills. Just this past fiscal year, our staff engaged more than 27,000 consumers through more than 300 education and outreach presentations throughout the Commonwealth. Likewise, PHFA is helping empower home buyers, homeowners, and renters through its loan programs and financial education efforts, helping Pennsylvanians set and reach financial goals and learn steps to help spend, save, and invest. Under Director Weissman's stewardship, PHFA is continuing its vital role in providing affordable rental and home ownership opportunities to Pennsylvanians and having a positive economic impact across the Commonwealth through its many programs and dedicated staff. Thank you, Director Weissman.
Thank you for those generous comments, Secretary Vague. And thank you to everyone who is watching today. Even though we can't honor our counseling agencies and partners in person, we wanted to recognize them for their vital work, especially in this very challenging year. The COVID pandemic has created an environment of uncertainty and, for many, fear. During a health emergency, housing is one of the most critical aspects to ensure our safety. How, without a quality home, can you safely isolate yourself? Housing has never been more important. As you may know, to help keep Pennsylvanians in their homes and rental units through a legislative mandate, PHFA launched the CARES Rental Relief Program and Pennsylvania Mortgage Assistance Program. This July, in total, the CARES program provided $175 million, $150 million for rental assistance, and $25 million for mortgage assistance. PHFA processed applications for homeowners, while agencies in each county processed renter and landlord applications. This was not the first time PHFA was asked to handle a program to help homeowners amid an economic crisis. In 2011, PHFA was tasked with distributing Emergency Homeowners Loan Program. PHFA received roughly $96 million from HUD, and our counseling network submitted approximately 7,000 ELP applications, resulting in 3,038 loan approvals. Aside from this federal assistance, PHFA has offered loan forbearance to homeowners with a PHFA mortgage. During the forbearance, homeowners were not charged any late fees or reported as late to the credit bureaus. Unless more federal money is provided, as the CARES program ends, there will be a great, urgent need to help homeowners who are struggling to make mortgage payments. More than ever, our counseling agencies will be needed to assist Pennsylvanians who are scared and worried about losing their home. As we have always done, PHFA will be there to help and provide as much assistance as we can and work with state leaders to advocate for homeownership-friendly policies. In that spirit, I'm pleased to announce the 2020 Award of Excellence recipient, Senator Art Haywood. Senator Haywood is no stranger to the importance of housing counseling, and the importance housing plays in communities. One of his first jobs was at Community Legal Services, saving families from home foreclosure. He also worked at Regional Housing Legal Services and in private practice as a lawyer, assisting nonprofit organizations to revitalize neighborhoods. Senator Haywood previously served as legal counsel to Esperanza, a community development organization in the Hunting Park section of North Philadelphia. Esperanza has been involved in our counseling network for many years and has received millions of tax credit dollars from us to support their multi-tenant housing development. Through his leadership as a state senator, he has worked to reduce homelessness through expansion of the Pennsylvania Housing Affordability and Rehabilitation Enhancement Act, what we call FAIR, and successfully championed legislation to relocate domestic violence survivors living in public housing. Most recently, he was a major advocate and key player in securing the federal CARES Act funds to prevent evictions, foreclosures, and homelessness in Pennsylvania during the COVID-19 pandemic. So it is my great honor to introduce our Award of Excellence recipient, Senator Art Haywood.
Thank you, PHFA, and especially to Director Robin Weissman, also to Terry Redmond and my good friend Mark Swartz, longtime board member, for this recognition. I hope it's deserved after many years of trying to create affordable housing and home ownership, but I really appreciate the recognition. Now, I just want to share that I've had a long experience with PHFA and on the home ownership side, and have seen the good work of the agency over many years. Back in 1986, I was an attorney at Community Legal Services, there trying to help people to save their homes from mortgage foreclosure. The key program that we used, in addition to bankruptcy, was the HEMAP program. And the HEMAP program allowed my clients some of whom had lost their jobs, therefore they lost money, or had there been a spousal separation, therefore they lost household income, or at that time substance abuse, particularly crack cocaine, was really high. But several individuals had opportunities to fix their lives, to get back on the road to recovery. That's what the HEMAP program did. Stopped the foreclosure, provided an opportunity for folks to get back on their feet. Soon thereafter, I went to Regional Housing Legal Services, where instead of helping people to save their homes for foreclosure, we worked to create new affordable housing opportunities. One of my first experiences with PHFA on the creation of housing side was at Via Esperanza. That's where PHFA provided low interest loans. They also provided housing counseling assistance. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And down payment assistance, all for individuals to help get into their first home ownership opportunity. And later at Esperanza, I ran a housing counseling program with 4 to 5 housing counselors. They got significant training assistance from PHFA as well as financial assistance. Let me describe in detail what these housing counselors have done and do today. First, in the Hispanic community, these counselors were actually translating the foreclosure, these housing counselors are actually translating the mortgage buying system to individuals. They were translators. They would explain that you need to save up so you can get a down payment, and that the down payment can help you buy a house. They would explain that lenders are your friend in America, even though they may not have been your friend in the country from which you came, and they can be trusted. They would explain a 15-year term and a 30-year term and an ARM, a fixed rate, all important for the home buying experience. I cannot tell you the memories I have of individuals who bought their first home. They were so happy, smiling. It was a tremendous change in their lives. And this personal change in families is not just for the ones I met at Esperanza and in North Philadelphia and West Philadelphia. This is a national phenomenon. Freddie Mac, one of the major supporters of lending, did a report and they called the value of home ownership the triple bottom line. The triple bottom line are 3 main things that come out of home ownership. First, they mentioned emotional and financial stability. Some of the individuals who we were in touch with trying to get a home for the first time had been renting and then had to move, and renting and had to move, renting and had to move. Home ownership creates that long-term stability and the emotional relief that they don't have to fear that a landlord or someone else will take their home from them. The second value that Freddie Mac found was in volunteerism. Individuals who have a home get well rooted into the communities. They volunteer at soccer and basketball and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They put into the community. They also found that home ownership has a value for health. And that may simply be because in your own environment, you can make sure that there's no lead paint in your home. There's things that you can do in your home that you may be restricted from doing in an apartment. The third feature they mentioned as part of the triple bottom line was wealth creation. Home ownership generates an opportunity for families to build equity. Equity is just the difference between the principal of the property and the value over time. These properties I mentioned from Via Esperanza 1, at first they were purchased and valued at about $35,000. 25 years later, they are now valued over $300,000. That's a lot of equity. That's also a lot of gentrification. But at the same time, it's that value that is now in the hands of the homeowners. Home ownership works and housing counseling works to help people translate the very complicated mortgage system so they can create this opportunity for their families. Now, I do want to share that we have some significant challenges, even though I've described what, in my opinion, is a tremendous success of the HEMAP program and housing counseling programs that are offered and supported by PHFA. We know today we face the COVID pandemic, and that pandemic has had a tremendous challenge on the incomes of individuals. That means folks don't have the money to pay for rent, or folks don't have the money to pay the mortgage payments. These are significant challenges. And unfortunately, in the last 5 to 10 years, many of the jobs that have been created have been for low-income individuals. You may not know that the wealth in this nation is being vacuumed up to the top. And the middle class is shrinking, as well as low-income people are seriously struggling with a minimum wage that is the lowest value in the history of having a minimum wage. So these economic inequality challenges are with us, and they will be with us until we can figure out a way to have a just recovery. A just recovery means that those at the low wage need to get a higher minimum wage. A just recovery means that these tax breaks for the rich have to be addressed so we have fair share appropriation of our wealth, so that we have a fair share commitment to our country. Now, this is something I'm confident we can do as a nation, but we must do it. And we must do it for one simple reason. Our nation depends on people who are shopping. The more consumers we have to spend money, the more money circulates in the economy. So I'm confident we can address this income inequality because we all know we must do it to save our nation. A second challenge that we face is the persistence of systemic racism. Now, unfortunately, I've got to share a story of my personal experience with racism. This was at a time when I was an attorney at Regional Housing Legal Services out in Montgomery County. And there one day I went to a real estate office to look and have a conversation about buying a home in Cheltenham Township. Mark Levin, a good friend of mine, had recommended I look into Cheltenham Township because I lived in Philadelphia with my wife and 3 young children at the time. We were paying a lot of money for private school, and he said, look at Cheltenham. So I went to a real estate office, and the first thing that they said to me in the office, this is what the receptionist said, was, the receptionist said to me, the unemployment office is upstairs. Now, I want you to know that I've been working since I was 9. First as a newspaper boy, I worked, and at that time I was a lawyer. So I said, no, I'm not unemployed, not looking for an unemployment office. So the second thing that the receptionist said to me was, we didn't order lunch out today. Now, I did have a single bag from Arby's, which was right down the street. Clearly not enough for a group. And I said, no, I'm not bringing food either. I'm here to talk about buying a home. So she did eventually send me to a conference room where I talked to an agent, very nice guy. He showed me a number of properties and a book that he had. That's when we weren't using the internet, we're just using paper. And he said, Mr. Haywood, there's so many houses that fit what you want. We can't show you any today. So I said, okay. So I went back. Now, this was after he gave me a lecture about being a first-time homeowner. Now, I did share with him I lived in a home already and was moving from one home to another in terms of my objective. Nevertheless, went back to the office, shared my experience with some of my colleagues, and they said, you may have been discriminated against. I got to tell you, my first reaction was, no way, no way. So they said, let's send some testers over there. Testers are those people who pretend to be interested in buying the house, but they're white in my instance. They're the opposite of who you are in terms of what you're testing for. So they sent a white tester, and the first white tester was shown homes the same day. Then they sent another white tester. They were shown homes, but not the same day. And then they sent a black tester out, shown no homes. Then another black tester was sent out, and they were shown homes, but it was in an all-black area. So it was very disappointing to learn that I had been the victim of housing discrimination. We did end up suing, and we did settle with them, and hopefully they have stopped that practice. But systemic racism persists. And it's not just my individual experience. Redlining stories are still in the newspaper. The Federal Reserve in Philadelphia indicated that the redlining, which is basically not providing loans to African Americans in certain parts of the city, still persists to some level. We know that there's still concerns about predatory lending and the difficulty of getting low interest loans when you have a decent credit rating, and there's been some level of discrimination against African Americans. So systemic racism and income inequality are two big challenges that face the housing market. Because I can tell you, if we don't get the growing non-white population into the housing market, then we're going to have a serious problem. So we still have these significant challenges on income inequality as well as on dealing with race discrimination. We know we have to address both for our future. We've got a rising non-white population in the nation. In order to have a nation that's still productive, we must create housing opportunities for those individuals as well. You may or may not know that in 2019, in 2019, the Census Bureau suggested that the majority of individuals who are 19 and younger would be non-white. That was in 2019. That's already happened. In 2040 or 2042, the demographers project that a majority of the nation will be non-white. So we got to prepare for that, and we can, just by making sure we open opportunity for all, just by making sure that we reduce discrimination. We've been on a long historic path in that direction. And what I'm so happy to say is PHFA has been a part of these efforts to expand opportunity for low and moderate income people, to reduce discrimination. PHFA has been in the lead in fixing this broken system in every step of the way. And most recently, with getting CARES dollars into the families who will be facing rental eviction, mortgage foreclosure, this is all part of the leadership that PHFA has provided, and I'm so glad that I have been able to participate in. And so I want to say again, thank you to all those at PHFA, all those who support the agency, all the staff. I gotta say good luck to my good friend Holly, who's been on the rental assistance side for so many years. And again, thank you for this recognition. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Senator Haywood, for those enlightening remarks, reminding us all of the significant challenges in our midst that include income inequality and systemic racism, and that each of us can and should do our part to contribute to the change that is required. Before we move on to our awards ceremony, I'd like to introduce to you the Director of Homeownership, Colleen Beaumont, who will have the honor of acknowledging our lending partners. Ms. Beaumont has served as the Director of Homeownership Programs since July 2016. She oversees the operational and marketing functions of the agency's single-family loan production.
Hi, my name is Colleen Baumert, the Director of the Homeownership Programs at PHFA. I'm so excited to be a part of this platform to congratulate our network of counseling agencies for their efforts and achievements for the last 2 years. The year 2020 was like no other that we've experienced. We all were presented with challenges and obstacles that has affected the way we conduct business and live from day to day due to COVID-19. Despite all the challenges we may have encountered, our mission of providing affordable housing across the Commonwealth became more important than ever. Many families within our Commonwealth needed a safe, decent, and affordable place to call home during this pandemic. Our mission was successful because of the commitment and partnership of our counseling agencies and participating lenders. Together, we were able to provide families with the assistance they needed to obtain an affordable place to call home. Counseling agencies, thank you for your continuous dedication of coaching and working closely with families to become successful homeowners. Your role plays a vital part of the home buying process. You are a coach and an advisor to all that you meet with on a day-to-day basis. Due to COVID, we implemented the remote counseling option in lieu of the in-person counseling for borrowers needing homebuyer education. This option allowed families to meet securely with counselors online from our extended network of approved counseling agencies to conduct a private homebuyer education session to get folks financially ready for homeownership. Adding this counseling platform provides buyers with options and continues our message of financial literacy. The interactions you have with your clients have a tremendous impact on their financial decisions and lifestyle. You may work with them for weeks, months, or even years to help them achieve a higher level of financial management and financial responsibility that may lead into homeownership. When clients successfully complete homebuyer education, our approved network of participating lenders are then ready to provide PHFA affordable mortgage options to help secure their home of choice. PHFA has offered affordable mortgage financing options since 1982 and has helped over 180,760 families secure financing. We have a network of 90 approved participating lenders across the Commonwealth who are familiar with our program guidelines and requirements. This pandemic has made it clear that the housing needs for families are different, and PHFA understands those housing demands. We have several mortgage options for different demographics. We have options for first-time home buyers, repeat buyers, single buyers, empty nesters, and for folks that are looking to refinance. When our participating lenders and approved counseling agencies work together, we're able to provide assistance for all types of families. We encourage our lenders and counseling agencies to continue to work together to serve the community. This is important more than ever, especially due to COVID-19, and this collaboration will help with promoting resources to families that are seeking to obtain homeownership. With your counseling efforts and the efforts of our lending partners, we purchased almost 2,775 loans valued over $425 million. This year, we offered a historic low interest rate of 2.45% under the bond program. This highly competitive interest rate allowed our customers to stretch their home buying dollars, giving borrowers an opportunity to afford more of a home with an affordable monthly payment. The bond program accounts for 76% of our business. With the promotion of the low interest rate, our production remained strong and stable this year. 2 years ago, we revived our mortgage insurance fund that allowed us to provide mortgage insurance for conventional loans under our bond program. This program update allowed us to purchase a substantial amount of conventional loans, providing financing up to 97% loan to value, resulting in an uptick in our conventional business. We urge our counseling agencies and lending partners to continue working together and building those partnerships, especially during these times. As we know, homebuyer education contributes to successful homeownership and stable financial management. Providing resources our counseling agencies have to offer is important to the lending process, in addition to the relationships both housing professionals establish to help improve the communities we serve. Once again, congratulations to all the awardees for a job well done and preparing your clients to become successful home buyers. Thank you for your service and commitment in helping PHFA achieve its mission of providing affordable home loans across the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Colleen, and thank you to all of our lending partners for everything you do to help our clients achieve the dream of homeownership. Of course, we know that it takes the effort of three important groups for us to achieve success for our clients: lending partners, realtors, and housing counseling agencies. In addition to receiving referrals from our lending partners, the counseling network receives incentives to participate in the comprehensive housing counseling initiatives. These initiatives are designed to bring tangible improvements to communities and address specific housing priorities, which include expanding homeownership opportunities, increasing minority homeownership, fighting practices of predatory lending, helping renters, homebuyers, and homeowners understand and improve their personal finances, and helping homeowners save their home from foreclosure. We are grateful for the funding that we receive from HUD, which we have combined with PHFA resources to enable agencies to provide valuable rental assistance to our citizens currently experiencing the loss of income due to COVID, for example. Together, we can all help individuals seeking affordable housing options and resources, and residents needing to understand their rights and responsibility regarding fair housing issues to avoid eviction. These initiatives must certainly provide the foundation to support and strengthen community and economic development efforts desperately needed in low, moderate income, and transitional neighborhoods throughout the Commonwealth. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge all of the housing counselors today. Many of them have previously received the HUD certification, the PHFA Housing Counseling Specialist Certificate, as well as specialty certifications from our national certification body in pre-purchase, foreclosure intervention, and/or financial education. I am happy to report that there are many of these counselors, and all of their names will be displayed at the end of this video. I encourage you to use the chat feature to congratulate our housing counselors. They have all met the PHFA's initial training requirements and have passed the exam with a score of 80% or more. You are doing terrific work. This forum is the one time that we get an opportunity to formally recognize the housing counselors. We know how important it is to be honored in the presence of your peers. And it's also a chance to share best practices so that each of us can learn new techniques and explore innovative methods to apply to your counseling process. PHFA encourages our counseling network to nominate their agencies for recognition by submitting information about the great work that they are all doing. They tell us about the background information of their agencies, policies and practices of their housing counseling program, types of counseling provided, and the process of delivery, best practices, and any client stories that showcase the success of the agency's programs. The original vision for this award event was to highlight best practices and recognize agencies with notable achievement. Now, we've expanded the award categories to include the partnership, financial education and coaching, and the humanitarian award, which is available to either an agency or housing counseling specialist. Not all of these awards will be presented today, but all of them have notable significance to the impact we make in our communities, and all are worthy of our recognition. So on your screen is a complete list of the awards. The agencies are also encouraged to nominate a housing counselor to receive the Best Housing Counseling Specialist Award by submitting information describing their background in education, people skills, resolution skills, innovative thinking, initiative, and especially client success stories highlighting the talents of the counselor. PHFA staff evaluates agency performance and information submitted by the agencies to determine the final awardee. So now we move into the presentation award portion of our event. These two presenters work very closely with me in the counseling division, and I'm encouraging them to have a little fun in recognizing our winners. So here to kick off this segment of the program are our Senior Business Development Officers, Jennifer Young and Justin Coleman.
Thank you, thank you. It is a pleasure to be here and be a part of this ceremony.
I know, this is awesome. Last award ceremony, we were more spectators. Now, we're speaking.
Yes, as Terry just mentioned, this award is a great way to recognize those individuals out there who are truly committed to improving the lives of every person who comes to them for guidance and wherever they are in the housing process.
So many agencies submitted nominations, and I have no doubt that each and every counselor nominated is truly doing exceptional work. Let me announce the nominees. First, we have Randy Schober from Tabor, Carol Jurjenko, Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley, Pamela Onslinger, NeighborWorks, NEPA.
We also have Ann Schwam from NeighborWorks, NEPA, Noelle Irving with Advantage, and Sandy McGeary, also from Advantage.
Christina Medina, Clarify, Michael Rappaport, West Oak Lane, Carmen Labrador, Neighborhood Housing Services of Greater Berks, Ramona Taylor, King, Intercultural, Paula Powers,
Jonathan Weaver with Mon Valley, Diane Bohalski with Center for Family Services, Juan Serpa with Norris Square Community Alliance, Dion Serdan with Affordable Housing, and Charlize Smith from WAVE.
Okay, great. So wow, what a phenomenal list. Well, let's get right to it and announce the awardees. Since we don't have to worry about applause because we're not in a live setting, please keep in mind that the platform that you're utilizing, you can send a message to the winner, you can send a message to somebody that you recognize that signed into this event. So keep that in mind as we go through the names and you see people listed behind us on the screen. You can shoot a message and send your congratulations that way. So let's get started. First, we have Randy Schober from Tabor.
Carol Jurjenko from Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley. Sandy McGeary from Advantage Credit Counseling Service.
Christina Medina, Clarify. Michael Rappaport, West Oak Lane CDC. Jonathan Weaver, Mon Valley Initiative.
And last, but definitely not least, Diane Boharski from Center for Family Services.
Wow, congratulations to each and every one of you. You saw the award flash on the screen behind me. So that award will be sent out to each and every one of you, sent out to your agencies.
Yes, yes, congratulations again. Well, now let's talk about the Best Agency Award. The criteria for this award is really looking at an agency and seeing if the agency participated in at least 3 of our initiatives. What other funding sources do they utilize? Are the counselors trained and certified? And what is the quality of their work submitted?
Yeah, like the billing. We look at responsiveness, outcomes from compliance reviews, and loan production with PHFA lenders.
So the nominees we have this year are Tabor Community Services, Advantage, Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley, Butler Homeownership, Genesis Housing Corporation, Clarify, the Urban League of Philadelphia, and WAVE.
This year, we selected 3 agencies to receive the award. So the Best Agency Award will be going to Advantage, Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley, and Clarify.
Congratulations to Advantage, Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley, and Clarify. This is just wonderful, and you all definitely deserve it.
Well, Justin, I've really enjoyed myself, but I think our part is done.
I agree. You know, we were told to get these awards announced, and we've done that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again to all the awardees of the Best Housing Counseling Specialist Award and the Best Agency Award. You all deserve it. You do a lot of work out there.
Now, we still have a few more awards to give out, but we will pass it back to our director, Terry Redmond, to get started with the Community Partnership Award. Terry?
The Community Partnership Award is given to an agency whose outreach efforts to local community organizations have helped to improve its program effectiveness and delivery. And the winner is Butler County Homeownership. Let's check out the video.
I came down here to Butler before I come down. I wasn't originally from Butler. After coming out of the military, it really wasn't structure. You know what I mean? I would drink and I would go from job to job to job, and it really wasn't structure. You know what? And the bills, I wasn't used to paying them. I didn't pay them, so the lights would get cut off, this would get cut off. And I was like in a cycle, going downhill, drowning.
The main mission of the Butler County Housing Authority is to provide affordable, decent, safe housing to the community. And everybody has their expertise. I know generally like where to get funding to help pay for your rent. Catholic Charities has the funding to pay for your rent.
Catholic Charities helps by getting people off the streets into a safer environment. We have homeless caseworkers and we have rental assistance programs. So we encourage them to go through the SHOP program.
I came here hopeless, and now I have hope. And so the SHOP class really opened my eyes to really having to pay attention to what I really needed to do to maintain life on my own. You know, you had to take a budgeting class. You had to take the different things so that you become self-sufficient.
SHOP is the Supportive Housing Opportunities Program. It was created with the homeless population in order to serve them at the beginning. The SHOP program is important to teach residents how to become renters, to be the best renter that they can be, to teach people how to save towards a goal. Through the years, we have seen almost 1,000 referrals come through with several hundred graduates of the program.
The SHOP program is designed to counsel people for making better decisions. They provide a financial match, so it's encouraging them to save income and make better choices.
With the collaborative of the SHOP program, it has increased our client intake due to us receiving referrals from other agencies for the credit and budget. Currently, we have over 150 people in the program that are working towards saving, establishing a savings pattern, and going to be matched money to move when they do move out into permanent housing. We will help budget their money and teach them how to prepare for the next year so they don't have to keep coming back for assistance. The ultimate goal is stable housing at the end. PHFA has helped us in that with different programs. We receive funding from them for the tax credits. That is provide low-income housing. We receive funding from them to do the housing counseling programs, and we receive funding from them to do home rehabilitation programs, as well as first-time home buyer down payment closing cost assistance. The Housing Authority has numerous collaboratives that we work with in Butler County, including the Local Housing Options Team, the Regional Homeless Advisory Board, Center for Community Resources, the Bar Association, and Catholic Charities. That's just to name a few.
So Butler County and all of the agencies in the area will shine in the fact that the collaborative between the agencies is wonderful for Butler County, and the Housing Authority is a big part of the reason why they're wonderful.
I love watching people that have gone from homeless situation to owning their home. Those are my favorite cases of watching the struggle and the succeed and the hard work that they've done to come so far.
Yeah, I'm happy with life every day.
The Financial Education and Coaching Award is given to an agency who provides financial education, counseling, and coaching early in the home buying process, demonstrating how a continued long-term relationship impacts client success. And the winner goes to CACLV, Community Action Committee of Lehigh Valley.
I think the first thing that we do is we give people the idea that they can be homeowners in the first place. For so many years, there was so much discrimination in the marketplace that a lot of people just stayed out. We recruit them to attend our homeownership seminars, which we do 7 times a year. They are HUD certified, and we typically have 150 to 300 or so people a year that graduate with a certificate. A certificate helps them get special financing from the banks if they're income eligible.
As a home buyer myself, I know there's a lot of little steps that an individual should know before getting into a home. We sit with you on a one-on-one basis where we could analyze your income and your credit report and visualize where you stand and where we could get you to get to that point. It can be attained. It might not be done tomorrow, but we could do a time frame. Within a year, maybe 2, you'll be ready to purchase this home.
This is kind of our mission here at the Greater Lehigh Valley Realtors, is that realtors are not here for the transaction. We are here to build the community. And what better way to do that than partnering with the Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley? Because again, they're providing vital first-time homebuyer training, which is unlocking doors for many individuals to obtain home ownership. Furthermore, they are broadening into many different communities here in the Lehigh Valley to make sure that we are creating home ownership and making it be that tide that rises all parts of our community.
Our Community Action Committee of Lehigh Valley offers many programs to our community, which we have weatherization, we have shelters, we have food banks. We're in our community, we are assisting in many areas.
I came to the conclusion that I wanted to buy a house. And my mom thought that was a really great idea, and she recommended I check out the CACLV's first-time homebuyers classes. Taking my time to make this decision and really getting all the education necessary to make that decision, I think made this process much easier for me, and also helped me make the most informed decisions going through this process, especially the homeowner savings program. That grant really opened up the opportunity for me to be able to purchase and make a down payment on a home.
The reason why the Homeownership Savings Account program was developed was, first of all, to have people learn the habit of being able to save. Their budget needs to be able to support them being able to put $20 a week on a regular basis over a 2-year period into this savings account. At the end of the 2 years, there should be $2,000 in that account, and then we match the $2,000.
Our first volunteer was ESSA Bank and Trust. They worked closely with us in developing the guidelines and all of the forms that needed to be put in place for the program.
This program itself was exciting to me because I find it so exciting to hear that people have started and finished and now own a home. And owning a home is such a huge dream of so many people.
There's nothing in it for the bank. This is just pure wanting to help the community. So to be able to see these couples actually accomplish this and know that that was very hard to even make $20 a week, they were really committed.
We had rented my whole life, me, my wife, and my kids. And it just kind of made sense to find that perfect piece of paradise for me and my family that we could retire on. There's a lot of forms. There's different kinds of mortgages. And it seems like Community Action had a lot of those answers for that. They educate you along the way, especially the finances, and that's step one. You have to go from there. You know, that extra $2,000 for me, it was probably the make or break for this particular house.
My mortgage product is through the PHFA, and I also have the PHFA's second mortgage product to help with closing costs. And all of that information I got through the CACLB. Getting the education through them was just so crucial for me in getting this home.
From having a partner like PHFA, you know, we're able to learn more about being a housing counseling agency. PHFA has actually provided us with curriculum that we utilize to teach our financial education course.
PHFA, Pennsylvania Housing Finance, gives us all the tools that we need to be able to handle any crisis that comes along, because through them they give us the training, or they pay for us to go get training that we need to be able to handle all facets of our community.
PHFA has been just an outstanding partner. They've been just so easy to work with. They've been patient, they've been supportive, they've been encouraging. When we're frustrated, they lift us up. When we're down, they've just been terrific.
The Funder Partnership Award is given to an agency that has developed diversity and private funders to support their housing counseling program. The winner is Community Action Committee of Lehigh Valley.
When we started to blaze this trail, really, it was the banks that were the first to understand that they had a better role to play than they were playing. This was a private sector issue for us, and we challenged the private sector to understand its problems and fix those problems. Local government and county government was actually slow to the cause. We were doing this program for several years before we were able to convince local government to be part of it. So now everybody's part of the equation, and I think we're on the right track, and we continue to put people through the process and get people into homes and strengthen our neighborhoods and strengthen the stability of the families in the process. Our community's better off, and we're all better off, including the people that bought homes, thanks to the work all of us have done together in partnership. You know, government funding is helpful. Frankly, it's often loaded up with bureaucratic demands and hassles. The best money that you can get is private sector funds, because the reporting requirements are limited. The amount of work you have to do to get those funds is much different. Now, you got to be good at what you do. You got to be doing things that matter to your community, but that's not hard to prove in the case of what we do. The issue was just kind of squeezing ourselves in there. The private sector has been outstanding. They've been our core funding all along. And so not only did they change the way they did business, they also provided us funding support to bring them customers, and the world's a better place because of it.
PHFA gives the Lender Partner Award to an agency that has developed relationships with lenders for referrals, assistance with loans, and donations for community resources. The winner is Advantage Credit Counseling Agency.
Well, Advantage has been in business since 1968, and from that time we have grown from one office located in downtown Pittsburgh to serving most of Pennsylvania, and we are also licensed in 38 other states. We currently have 5 locations, including our Pittsburgh office, which is our headquarters. Over the years, we have developed a relationship with PHFA. They have provided significant funding to the agency, and we have developed partnerships with community organizations and lenders because we can't afford to do television advertising. It's really important to us to do grassroots marketing and networking. And so over the years, we've developed partnerships with about 55 of PHFA's lenders.
In the last 6 years, I've developed a really close relationship with Advantage because of what they bring to the table. Advantage provides, consistent counseling to a homeowner or prospective homeowner so that they understand, about making a payment and what's involved. We want to give a loan to a customer, but we also want that customer to succeed long term in their first home. So having a relationship with someone that actually helps a customer understand a budget, understands what it takes to actually own a home, and also understands the numbers involved in buying a home.
The biggest strength of our relationship with the lenders is that Advantage is so reliable, and the lenders realize if they give us something, we're going to get it done as soon as possible, get it done right, and get all the documentation they need, and that the client will in fact be comfortable at closing.
I will consistently refer my peer group to Advantage Credit Counseling, because of their excellent service they provide.
We really wanted to develop a service that met clients where they are and really met what consumers are looking for. And so we developed a remote counseling offering, and we shared that with PHFA, and they approved us to be able to provide that to consumers, and it's been extremely popular. Over 80% of consumers seeking pre-close counseling opt for the remote counseling. We use the webinar software so that our counselor and the consumer who is receiving counseling can see one another. Consumers can sign documents very easily, send them back to the agency immediately.
Because Advantage Credit Counseling offers a remote service, I can electronically send my documents securely to them. So that allows the customer ease of use. They don't have to actually try to get all those documents to Advantage. As a lender, I can actually send everything that's needed.
The biggest benefit is speed. Everything is done very quickly. You can sign it very quickly electronically and get it back to the lender as fast as possible. Advantage was the first agency to go to remote counseling as an experiment 3 years ago. And so they pioneered it and set up the procedures. So when the pandemic started, they were already set up to go.
We first started looking for homes probably in March of this year, 2020. It was really daunting, like the whole task of buying a home. It was kind of in the midst of the early pandemic when things were starting to get really bad. And so a couple places weren't doing counseling sessions, but Advantage was one of the places where they had online counseling available. It was just a really great experience, and looking back, I'm really happy that we started off at Advantage, and they really kind of walked us through the whole process and helped us out a lot, and we're really grateful.
Having PHFA stand behind a company like Advantage just provides another solid piece to us being able to provide money to first-time home buyers.
I think it's important to find a good counselor, and I feel like Advantage really met us where we were at in kind of our situation. They asked us a lot of questions on what we wanted out of a home and what we were willing to compromise with. It feels like I'm taking that step towards, being more financially independent.
Housing stabilizes people. An own home stabilizes people. And people feel like they're achieving the American dream.
Communities are stronger when the folks who live in the communities have a stronger financial picture because they're paying their utilities on time, they're paying their mortgage. And so, it's very important that everyone within a community has the ability to thrive financially, whether they make very little money or they make a lot.
A housing counseling program like this one could not and would not be possible to implement without a committed and competent team. At this time, I would like to sincerely thank the PHFA Housing Counseling staff. Your hard work will never go unnoticed. It is my sincere pleasure to lead this wonderful team of professionals. Thank you all for all you do to contribute to our mission. Tina Bolden, Melody Santor, Bianca Santos, Rosalind Dean, Kim Gallagher, Jennifer Young, and Justin Coleman. Thank you again. The Housing Counseling Network was established in 1983 to support the Homeowner Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program, HEMAP. Agencies were invited to join the network so consumers can apply for the HEMAP loans in their communities. Here to provide greetings to our HEMAP agencies is the Program Director, Lori Toria.
Thank you, Terry, and congratulations to all the award recipients. Welcome, everyone. Although unfortunately not in person, we're here today to celebrate and thank each of you. Thank you to all of you for everything you've done for the program over the years. Some of you may be new to the program, and others, at least a few, have been with us from the beginning. Regardless, you should feel good about the work you've done to keep Pennsylvanians in their homes. It's a good feeling and something you can be proud of. Since 1983, when the program was created, we've saved over 50,000 homes from foreclosure through disbursements to lenders totaling over $575 million. We've received over $335 million in repayments of those loans. It's been a challenging year with all of the change brought on by COVID, and we appreciate your cooperation and patience as we figured things out. I know it was hard to turn people away when they wanted to apply, and many of you have asked about options and alternatives to actually meeting face-to-face with applicants. As you know, we're in the process of amending the program policy statement to allow for alternatives to the in-person face-to-face requirement. Our legal department is working on language for publication in the Pennsylvania Bulletin. Once that's done, there will be an opportunity for public comment, after which the agency will finalize the revisions to the policy statement. Our goal is to have the language finalized and the new guidance implemented by the end of 2020. We appreciate your patience and will keep you posted as that progresses. With regard to program funding, we currently have $10 million to work with, but are also discussing a state appropriation request. Although $10 million may seem like a lot, given the high unemployment rate and the anticipated application volume as a result, that amount could go quickly. Our repayments for the most part have been covering our disbursements. That was especially the case this year with the application suspended due to COVID. As of late July, we resumed taking applications, but with Act 91 notices not being sent until September, the recent application volume has been minimal. We're helping many people through the Pandemic Mortgage Assistance Program, but that has a maximum assistance period of 6 months. We may see many of those same people, the non-FHA mortgagors, come back through HEMAP. In closing, I want you to know that we can't do what we do, help the people we help, or save the homes we save without each of you out there doing what you do daily. We appreciate what you do, and thank you to each of you for everything.
The State and Federal Housing Trust Fund has been an important resource for many community development organizations, private developers, and for-profit entities looking for resources to implement and address the unmet needs identified in our state and local consolidated plans. Please help me welcome Bryce Moretsky, the Director of Policy and Planning at PHFA. He will provide a brief update on the FAIR grant.
Thank you, Terry. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It really is wonderful to have a chance to be with the Counseling Network once again. My name is Bryce Moretsky, and I am the Director of Policy and Planning at the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. For purposes of this meeting, I lead the team that leads the Pennsylvania Housing Affordability and Rehabilitation Enhancement Program that we know and you know as the FAIR program, also known as the State Housing Trust Program. That program has been around since about 2010 and has really grown to be the preeminent program to help housing and community development efforts across the Commonwealth, including the work that all of you do in housing counseling. Last Friday on November 20th, the applications came in for the current round, and we have received 272 applications, requesting about $80 million. We have not had a chance to sort of get into them, but we know that I'm sure a number of them will be from you as our partners, and we look forward to sort of reading about your innovations and creative ideas for helping to address people's financial needs, helping to look at new areas of innovation, helping to scale best practices in the work that you're doing in terms of reaching deeper to help people sort of in their whole life cycle around financial education, helping to be better renters, be better homeowners, look at their student debt, look at, buying a car, really being their go-to place for helping address their financial education, their housing counseling needs across the Commonwealth. You are a magnificent group of partners. We look forward every year to seeing the work that you're doing, and it's really a pleasure to once again celebrate your work and have a chance to be with you. If you didn't get a chance to apply for this round, we will be doing once again another round next year. The program for this coming round in 2020 that'll be awarded probably in June of 2021, we probably have around $30 million or so to allocate. So we'll be making some hard choices, but we look forward again to the innovative and competitiveness of your applications for the work that you're doing. Many of you are just probably getting grant agreements and getting underway for your last round if you were successfully awarded a FAIR grant that was awarded in August of this year. So, please be patient. We're working on getting those grant agreements out as we work remotely. And so again, there's going to be a bit of an overlap between this year and the coming year. We recognize that, and we will be as patient with you as you work on your programs. Again, what we did this year, as many of you know who applied, is that we had some categories that we asked you to select one to prioritize, and you could only select one. Housing counseling was one of those categories, and we will be reviewing your applications. Many of you may have struggled a little bit to decide, well, am I just going to focus on the housing counseling, or am I going to put myself in a different category? And we'll look at those and see how that works out. But again, the conversations we've had with all of you over the years has just been really pleasurable. You're great partners. Your innovation, your willingness to sort of look deep and be comprehensive, really have terrific staff, be sort of out there on the front lines of helping people, whether it's through evictions, home ownership, keeping their home if they're at risk of losing their home. You really are sort of the most important boots on the ground when it comes to helping these most critical issues. And we all know, we are facing such uncertain times and have been now for 8-9 months, and likely will be for a number more months through the pandemic. And so we thank you so much for the work that you've done. And it's a pleasure for me now to turn it over to my boss, the PHFA's Executive Director and CEO, Robin Weissman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bryce, and all of our presenters this afternoon. As you can see, without our housing counseling agencies, PHFA would not be able to help Pennsylvanians achieve and maintain the dream of homeownership. I'd like to once again congratulate all of today's award winners and Senator Art Haywood. There are many challenges facing homeowners today, so the importance of housing counseling is greater now than ever. We will work alongside all our partners to provide all the resources needed to meet the demands COVID has created. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to welcoming everyone back to celebrate in person at our next Housing Counseling Award ceremony in 2022.
you.